my partner in crime, and I'm just so grateful that we got such a nice community. I gotta tell you a few things before she comes out. If you haven't been here before, what we do after the storytellers at the forum so far is that we tell a story and we sing a song and tell a story. But then at the very end, we invite you up, and you come and line up over here, and you can tell 5 sentences or 2 minutes. So whatever you want to do, 5 sentences or 2 minutes. And we haven't gotten the hook yet. Actually, one time we got the hook, but that will not be you. Don't worry. So you can come up and dip your toe in the storytelling pool and go ahead and tell a story tonight if you feel like it. But in the meantime, please put your hands together for my dearest friend, Charlene Vickery.
Hello, my name is Charlene.
Hello, Charlene.
And I am a love-aholic. The name of my story tonight is Fool for Love. That's my declaration. I am a fool for love. There is nothing I enjoy more than being in love, caring for my loved ones, whether it be cooking or tending to them or touching them or kissing. Everything about it is what I love about life. And this started early. I remember sitting for hours brushing my beloved grandmother's hair, cuddling and going through all her stuff, musing at why she kept so many buttons and containers, yet tenderly sifting through every single item in her home as if it held some key to a greater mystery. Her love for me was big. It was actually huge. She delighted in everything about me. She instilled in me this knowledge that I was lovable, this unshakable knowledge that I'm lovable. As I grew older, I would fall in love with all the friends that surrounded my big, fat Greek Armenian family. Friday nights filled with laughter, and I did not want to miss a single minute of the fun. When these new people lovingly joked that they would love to take me home with them, I would go fill up shopping bags. They would be as big as my 4-year-old body, put them over my shoulders, and walk to the door and wait for them, waiting the new adventure. My mother didn't know whether to be horrified or proud of how free and confident I was. My heart was and continues to be this vortex of strength and power and wisdom, and very often it has been the source of my stupidity. Not surprisingly, my heart has been, as a good old country song would say, stomped flat. It has been beaten, it has been broken, it has been jerry-rigged and held together with duct tape and paper clips. And I have been the one consoling the loveless and the broken-hearted and the desperate. In fact, in high school, my girlfriends would share their love woes with me, and I would write poems for them, expressing their sorrow, which they would slip to their thoughtless boyfriends after class. At this point, my mother began derogatorily referring to me as Dear Abby, for the hours of relentless counsel I provided my lovelorn friends by phone. Yes, this territory of the lover's heart was one that I knew very well. And we all know that there's very different kinds of love, right? The deep, complex love of family, the overpowering love and protection we feel for our children and sometimes even our pets, the addictive, obsessive, oh my God, I can't get enough of you, adrenaline rush for a lover, especially a new lover. Sorry, Ray. Then there's the sensual love of sun and dance and hobbies, the love that makes us feel. There's the love and loyalty we convey to friends, and even the flippant love that we declare for pizza or a good book. But that's not the love I'm here to declare tonight. For the past 2 years, I have been a fool for a different kind of love. I have fallen down the rabbit hole, and I don't see an end in sight. This love is like a really great conversation that I never want to end. This love is like catnip for my soul. I'm not sure if many of you know this, but I'm a body worker specializing in craniosacral, massage, and energy therapy. I have found a way of making a living by tending to and caring for the bodies of others. I get to radically love in a way that heals, and it's not at all creepy or weird. I have this gorgeous little gem box of a healing studio in a nearby suburb with 2 rooms and a garden. It's my solitary healing sanctuary. My business is primarily referral, and I've never had a client walk in. So I was surprised when I heard a bang on the outer door of my studio a few years back. I looked out and saw a rush of red hair past the window. Curiosity sated, I returned to prepare the back room for my next client, who wasn't due in for a few hours, just enough time to grab lunch and sit in my garden to meditate. The change in air pressure in the space alerted me to the fact that somebody had entered my inner sanctum. There she stood, a vision of light and springtime. That same red flowing hair, but now attached to a name and a face, Maureen Muldoon. Do you remember where you were the first time you laid eyes on a vision, a moment of reckoning, a realization that you've just met an important traveler on your journey? In Maureen strode and wanted to know who I was, what I did in the space. She recently opened a spiritual counseling office a few doors down and had become intrigued by my window and the fact that she could never catch me between clients. I was a mystery, and she needed answers. On that fate-filled day, May 1st, 2013, as we finished each other's sentences, our shared enthusiasm sparked, kindled, and grew into a flame. That day, my door opened 2 more times unexpectedly. Both were strangers looking for bodywork. This phenomenon continues to this day. When Maureen and I are together in a room, people show up in the strangest and most perfect ways. Within 2 weeks of our meeting, we created our first workshop. 2 weeks. Creating sacred space and affirmative prayer. We barely knew what each other did. We created, and we were packed. We had a full house. The day we first met, we shared the name of a common vision for a business that was calling us, Sanctuary. I found that my soul was thirsty for every word Maureen uttered. She was speaking a language that I needed to learn, the language of faithfulness and prayer, which had always eluded me. I could understand perfectly from her mouth. It was like hearing an old song you'd forgotten, and suddenly all the words came back in an instant. I didn't fall for Maureen as much as I have risen into her, but make no mistake, I am an absolute fool for this woman. I have gone places and done things I've never anticipated. Oh, look, I'm standing on stage reading a story I wrote about this new love of my life. She's asked me questions that stopped me dead in my tracks. In those first weeks, it was like rapid fire. If you could do anything, what would you most like to do? Teach. The words were like right there. No searching, no ruminating. What would you teach? Again, the words right there. The fourfold way, indigenous medicine wheel work, evangelist Arians. I was like on fire. Well, why aren't you doing that? What's stopping you? Within 2 months, I was on a plane bound for a vision quest. 2 weeks in the mountains outside of San Francisco, including 4 days living on the land in silence, fasting with my beloved teacher Angelus. Okay? What the hell? I am not a camper. Right? Camping for me was the one time my husband made me stay at Howard Johnson. Walking into the retreat center, there were stones lining the path with one word on each stone, and with creating this one sentence, and it said, "How far down the rabbit hole are you willing to go?" And that is really our relationship in a nutshell. Up until this point in my life had a sort of order, like a strategy, a leading up to things. I had plenty of adventure and unconventional path, but it all fit into this package that was Charlene Vickery. This new love, this soul love, plunged me deep into the mystery. Now I'm like all instinct and wild and creative and present and reverent and actually quite irreverent because I'm hanging with a spiritual vixen. I am more me because I met you, Maureen. Aww. We have a tribe, we have a language, we have a devotion that is unique. We have a business. Yes, we are partners, but not in the way that raises eyebrows and amusement, except, of course, for Maureen's husband, Will, who made our love the subject of his yearly Christmas letter. And I quote, "I don't know how I can encapsulate all that Maureen has accomplished in the past 3 years, so we'll focus on today since breakfast." This is Will. "She seems to have taken a lover who goes by the code name Charlene. Maureen thinks this fools me, and I don't want to burst her bubble, so I just nod, try to breathe with my mouth closed, and keep my knuckles from dragging on the ground. they meet, but the code word for their love nest is sanctuary. Beyond that, Maureen doesn't even bother trying to conceal her tryst. Maureen, Charlene gave me the most amazing body work today. Me, well, that's nice, dear. I don't see Maureen very often, but she sometimes leaves me texts about working late at Sanctuary or going to Charlene's for the weekend. So it would appear that she's happy, which is all I care about. This time next year, Maureen, Charlene, and I will be laughing all the way to the bank. Actually, I'll probably be the only one at the bank. They'll be at Sanctuary, wherever that is. Although it's all very tongue-in-cheek. There's probably a number one of people in this room that would say, if we were so inclined, Maureen, you could turn us. So this is a love letter to my muse, my spiritual catnip, my mirror, and my teacher. Thank you for leading me back to my beginner's mind, where there are only questions and no hard edges or definitive answers. I get to play the fool for myself and watch my ego dissolve and reassemble itself only to topple and reform anew, like waves pounding on the shore. I am a fool for love, but this is a love between two old souls, and it allows me a deep intimacy of knowing myself. And as I tread deeper into this mystery of this love, I get to see deeper into the mystery of me.
Give it up for Char! Alright, I had a couple songs pop in my head during that beautiful story. But this one wins.
Intangible, incredible, inventive, unforgettable, exceptional, desirable, successful, undeniable, adaptable, agreeable, approachable, amenable, invaluable, respectable, powerful, indispensable. I am beautiful, I am magical, I am fantastical, nothing's gonna bring me down. I am unbeatable, I am unbreakable, I am irreplaceable, nothing's gonna bring me down, 'cause I am what I am. Lovable, colorful, noticeably wonderful, individual, original, I'm anything but typical, blissful, grateful,